Hey guys, what is up? It is Serio Tenon here today. It's been a while since I've made a video. Been pretty busy going to regional after regional. Playing JP. Went to like only two qualifiers for that. I've been to like Chicago, New Jersey, Atlanta, Toronto. We tried to make it to Texas. We didn't get on the flight. So that's kind of what I've been doing with Kit from Burn One and everyone else, Tyler. And I thought, today it's basically the end of the regional season. I've got Cali coming up this weekend, but I kind of gave up on getting to Worlds this year. Tournament season wasn't very favorable to me. I kept trying out new things with Bang Dream, but I thought I would go over the different Bang Dream lists that I made over time and like what my thought process was and like kind of how those lists evolved. So when I first got my hands on it, I wanted to try the Kokoro combo because you have an Amagi, which is like when you play a climax, you can look at top 4 and add a yellow character to hand, or Hello Happy World, and I mean all the yellow characters are Hello Happy World, so it doesn't matter. It's Hello Happy World though, and like that's powerful because it was on a stock soul, so you could pay out climaxes and then replace it with the stock soul. And then Kokoro's combo was if they cancel, you get to you give 2 characters. If they cancel, you get to salvage one. So if you play 2, you could basically do an infinite loop. With the as long as you had the stock soul in hand, and then there was a card that searched out the stock soul from your deck by clocking, which is better than a Ricky, and at least in my mind, because you usually have ways to get characters, right? But you don't have ways to get climaxes to hand most of the time. So I like the yellow engine. It also had Azusa, which is like on play, discard a card, look at top 4, add a yellow character in. So like the entire yellow engine was just so powerful. That I knew I wanted to play that, and I had 4 Yukina stamped pants. So the first thing I did, of course, I wanted to play with Yukina, but like my game plan at 1 was kind of scattered, and this is like a very unrefined list. Like this was my first attempt, but I found out around 21 hits. It's like you want 21 yellow characters to have your Azusa hit about 90% of the time. So you'll sometimes lose hand, but for the most part, it was like Azusa is going to be and Amagi were going to be more of a mill than a plus. It's like I didn't care what I got as long as I got something, hopefully. So we play 3 of the Amagi, 2. This is the card that searches. 4 of this. The cool thing about this is if you trigger this or this, you can add the top card of your stock to hand. If you have 2 of this, then you get to add top 2 cards of stock to hand. It means that you always get your level 1 combo, and you can sometimes get this. I played 2 Brainstorms. My thought was, Kokoro's going to get me salvages throughout the game. Amagi is better on first deck than Brainstorm. Brainstorm is probably better on second deck when you're compressed, because you're more likely to hit 1 to 2 climaxes. So why would you do the only getting 1 card when you could potentially get like 2, right? And then I didn't like runners, right? Like, well, it's like a runner, like, and how it interacts with the board. It accelerates my game state, but then I'm not able to answer, like, right, if my opponent fields like a 3/5 anti-runner in Sunshine, or if they or like I'm against, well, I can't really do anything against like 4Ks in this deck either, without the Brainstorm that I'm probably not going to open. But there's like this, like when you play a runner, right? You're sometimes not able to answer what your opponent puts on board, and especially with like bad players. Like runners are terrible against bad players because bad players will just like tri-field on the first turn, disregarding like the hand advantage, and they accelerate the game state. And there's like no real way to punish them because they also soak up soul damage while doing so, other than stripping them of hand. But it's hard to strip people of hand in this game now, because like plussing engines are just that powerful. You can go from like 2 cards in hand to maintaining a nearly full hand in just a matter of a couple turns, just because of like the natural advantage that decks generate now. So that's why I think that oversizes are becoming better, because they like disincentivize tri fields. Like if I have two Futabas on board, my opponent is going to field one, maybe two characters, and they'll have to crash a lane. So then, like, I get like extra damage in response to their having to crash, and like I have to clock draw less, and I have less slots to fill on my board. So yeah, like the oversized, and on top of that, it was level 1, which actually just like when I was talking to everyone that was playing Bang Dream, because Bang Dream is the hype set, right? This is like when the set first came out. Everyone was playing the Sayo bottom decker bomb and the Hagumi stock bomb, and there's like anti-spirals running around, and all of these interact with level 0s, right? So this level 1 3500 actually just is, it's just too good. It can't be answered really by a lot of decks. And it also helps like slow down the game state, because I really like slower games. I like the ability to fix bad situations, and I like the ability to prevent bad situations, and that's what I feel like oversizes give me. Now level 1 was just like a cluster of just garbage. So I was playing 4 Kokoro, that's always right? 2 bears, I think that's right. And I think the 2 Misakis is fine. However, it was like the pressure of other people telling me these other cards were good. And these cards are good in a version of Bang Dream that isn't yellow. Like, right? But like when you have yellow, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot of slots. And if we look over here at the color, right? I only play 6 red. 6 red. But I have this global, and it gives every card the ability to run in front to battle. And then this is like pay 1 summons. This card is good. This card is fine. But with this amount of red, it's not. Like, this amount of red is actually just unacceptable to put something so important. But I'll show you why. So this card is being pushed to me, and this card is being pushed to me. And then I wanted to test this against like Sword Art, against the Rize, because like Sword Art doesn't have good access to mill outside of like they have an Amagi, and they have a Brainstorm, but like that's about it. Like they don't have free mill other than Rize, the Kirito that on death they look at top 3. And I thought, like, being able to remove that from board, and then also like Sunshine's just kind of the most cancerous thing in the world to play against, so being able to like just like stop them in their tracks, because of course I'm going to be playing Yukina in this list. I think this card's fine. Like this card's completely acceptable. It's a 7k. Level 2, so it removes stuff and it moves it to the bottom. This is not okay in Hello Happy World at all. Level 2, I pulled this in assigned, so I was kind of playing it. It was also an answer to Sunshine, kind of. I mean, it just puts in their stock so they can play it again. But the idea was like removal for threats that hit war too early. And then I was playing this. This is why I was like shoving in all this random red garbage, because I'm only playing two of this, right? Because like the synergy, I already explained that. But then I want this. I want this ability so I can get my Yukinas off guaranteed. And in all honesty, AOT is such a bad matchup. I don't even know if this like really helps all that much. I mean, it definitely helps, but like I think you're better off just going for like the Kokoro Musashi. Like the more I've played it, like, or at least in this build, because like it'd be better to just drop red completely. Because you don't need this, and you don't need this with Yukina. You want it, but it's not worth running 6 reds for. And at level 3 we have our standard lineup. Well, it's not standard at all. Look at all this garbage. I was playing this to go with the stock swap. My goal was in case like I wasn't able to Yukina, I could stock swap Arisa. The problem is a lot of players in English tend to not care about stock. It's not that the decks can't do it in English, because they can. It's just English players in general seem to not care at all. Or like there's like AOT does it, but for the most part, I very rarely see someone in English with like 10 clean stock or like 11 clean stock. So the stock swap, while a powerful tool, it just wasn't doing anything, especially with the Arisa. The Arisa actually is good though, because like people blow a bunch of stock all at once. Like they might have like 7 stock and then they blow it all. And then you have them shuffle all those clean cards back in. Kokoro is for when, like, you know, you can never triple Yukina. So the goal is double Yukina and Kokoro. And then a Karu to help you dig for what you need. Cool thing is about the Kokoro combo, because you're playing a stock soul every turn, and because you're able to, like, fix your deck so easily with, like, Karu and, like, second and third deck, like when you start hitting those, Kokoro just starts going off over and over and over again. You just maintain like full hand. It's actually very possible in this deck to do double Yukina and like a single Kokoro. Like the Kokoro engine is just so powerful. You'd have to play it to understand. But then I was playing like 3 toilets because people kept telling me it was good. It wasn't yellow. It was just like a blue card that I had to play at 1. Half the time it ended up being leveled. I had no way to search it. It was a wasted slot. So, moved on a little bit. Managed to get my hands on an SSP of Best Girl Misaki. And we fixed up the deck a little bit, right? We got it a little more focused. I still think there's a little too much red. We dropped the toilets. We added this spicy thing. So, like, I had this problem, right, with... I wanted to slow the game down, right? That's the entire point of this oversize. Slow the game down. But everyone's playing runners. And I can't just, like, keep telling them to miss their runners, because it only happens 1/6 of the time. But what does work is I put this Tay bottom decker for when I go second. Because I'm like, you know, this Futaba is pretty good. This, like, Chisato is pretty good if I go first. Because it, like, you know, soaks up a lane. It's just all around good. It gives me, like, a top check later on in the game. But, God, if I go second, there's nothing I can do. And the same thing with runners. Like, even if you play a runner, if you go second, a runner feels so bad. So, I decided, rather than focusing on my own pluses, like, that by denying my opponent a card at 0, I could potentially, like, plus myself in the damage, like, race. So this is my levels. This is my like level 0 lineup pretty much from now on out. Is 4 and 3. Like this is too good to not play. Like these two, at least in English, I believe. So yeah, it's just bottom decks a card that's cost 0 on their board if they only have 1. So like even if you don't win board on defense, so you don't care about that part. But it's really good going second, and then it can be useful at other stages of the game randomly. Still playing 3 card. I didn't want to bump it to 4 because like I'm playing a lot of yellow. I have more hits here, but it's just I don't know. I wanted more impactful cards. Still, you play 4 Moggies, you play 2 of this. Like that doesn't change. You play 2 Brainstorms. The level 0 lineup's still the same, but I got my hands on an SSP, so I had to play that. We bumped the Misaki counts up to 3. I decided, like, I wanted more hits on this, because this gives me 11 plussing triggers, right? Because 3, 4, this, so 11. And, because I wanted to keep the stock swap in. Because the stock swap is worth having, and this is worth having. I think both of these are good cards. I kind of just threw that in there. I was like, I guess if there's a red card that I would want to have later in the game, and because I didn't want a red card like the Saya where I'd want to have it at 1, right? I wanted to have a red card that gives me more utility later in the game than it does early, and dodging on reverses is more important at 3 than like 1 for the most part. So by putting the Remy runner in, I wasn't seeing this as a level 1 that I play at level 1. I was seeing it as a level 2 to 3 option to like set up to prepare for Attack on Titan or whatever it is, like Yukina, the mirror match. Once again, though, there was too little red to actually reliably get it. There was actually it was like pretty much whatever hit my clock is what got thrown in there. The Karu is still, I just had the SP. It's also like an okay like thing because the deck doesn't do anything at 2. So being able to remove a threat at 2. But the problem is like most decks that are putting threats on the board aren't putting 1 threat. They're putting 2 to 3 threats on the board. Standby Sal puts 3 cards on the board. One's in the back row, you can't interact with it. The other 2 are just impossible to deal with. I up the count of Musashis because I was realizing, hey, Yukina's not always getting the reverse, and it's like, it's too hard to guarantee, so, you know, sometimes I just want to go Musashi. Karu, still a good early play. Still digging for, like, things that I need. And then Arisa still just sometimes screwing my opponent over. This list is fine. I think this list is something you could reliably take. I think the red... I wish that you could find more room. Like, you drop this 100%. Maybe throw in an extra Brainstorm, some other red card. Something impactful. That's red, and it has to be red. I wish I could tell you to put the drop search in, but the problem is, like, if you're trying to splash other things, it's hard to even find room for the drop search. Now, this was a cheeky little title. I wanted to play Arisa Wall in Chicago, but I was told to flip a coin, and whatever it landed on is what I played. So I hit Yukina, and I was like, okay, I guess I play this Yukina stuff, right? I was just close to this list. So I wanted to play this list in Chicago, and I played it in New Jersey, and I lost to getting 2 sold on turn like 2 by Log Horizon, sending me from 0-6 to like 2-4. It's basically like both of the games I lost were like just horrifying losses, and then my wins were like really hard grind games. Or like I guess like my opponent got unlucky in like one of them, but like I lost to refreshing with only 4 climaxes in my deck. Refreshing a climax and then triple triggering. Like, I don't even know how that happens. And then, no, it was 5 climaxes, refresh climax, double trigger, so I had 2 left. And they were both on the bottom. And, like, it's like I didn't even, like, refresh well, right? It was, like, level 2. And then the guy got, like, the guy ate just, like, an ungodly amount of damage when he shouldn't have. And then he, like, Ronco milled and... it hit the exact number of climaxes for exact lethal through the minus soul wall. So it's like, man, the losses were rough. The losses were rough, but I still believe in the deck. So the level 0 lineup, like I said, pretty standard. The cool little interaction is this can give a soul to this. It's not really relevant. You don't really do it, but yeah. Good level 0. I'm very happy with this. Now the level 1, a few changes, right? I cut the bear down to a 1 of. It's being a little more experimental with it. I didn't care so much. I don't care about the bear enabling the Karu early play at all. I care about the bear paying out a stock and then going into the stock. Because it's like it's a stock neutral stock payout, which is very important for the deck, because getting to 6 stock, because you want 6 stock, right? You want like 5 to 6 stock before you start playing Arisa, but you also want a really good refresh. And the Hello Happy World engine with the Amagis and stuff was allowing that, but the bear was too. I was being told to drop it completely. But just being able to just like pay 1, put this bear on board, send the bear back to stock next turn, get my stock back, and then like utilize that stock on like other things. Just felt good. It's just really nice. It's once again, it's like one of those things that I think that people would like fail to appreciate. Like some people fail to appreciate like how nice that feels. Not having to use 2 to 3 stock to maintain like clean stock, or being able to refresh 8 after triggering on like your second attack and still have like 11 stock. And then I added a memory counter. because I said, I'm playing walls. Memory counter's nice. It gets to remove cards off the board. And it's grabbable off of Arisa and the Magi. So just like a nice little addition. Once again, trying to shoehorn red in. The idea here... Look for 5 red. The idea here is... I need stock swap. I actually don't care about this. I was told a cute little thing you can do, though, is like swing with an Arisa, side with this thing, and then if you get hit to 2 first, right? Swing with this, side with this when they're level 2 now, and then they can't play backups in the 3rd lane. Alternatively, you can just go no backups on this, side with this, side with this. Generally, they're gonna have like a level 1 somewhere on the board, and they're not like you're still gonna be able to swing for like 2. But I needed a stock swap because Arisa wins board too hard. It just like they do not have a board. Like once these come down, they cannot play the game. Especially in English, there's like no good, like nobody plays answers to anything. So my thought was, like, when they start canceling, when I go 4, 4, 4, and they just keep canceling, or 4, 5, 6, because I got double soul triggers. I wanted a way that, like, because the way the game will naturally progress is my opponent's just going to sit there compressing, hitting next deck. I'm going to keep blinking their attacks, and we're going to hit time. That's the end game. Like, that's what's going to happen almost every game, unless I'm sitting there like ditching every turn with the Arisa swimsuit. I want to stock swap them. I want them to get like 10, 12 stock over like 3, 4 turns of just like having to brainstorm and like just play really vanilla Weiss, and then just stock swap them and just stick 12. That's what I wanted to do. It worked actually. It was pretty potent. Once again, it was like hard getting the red sometimes. But yeah, this is pretty close to what my finished list was. But then I was having some problems because like some games were going to time. Some games I was just like, man, I wish I had like a finisher against them. But Yukina wasn't working. So I started to get a little more experimental. I don't think this is a good list. I tried this. This list is garbage. But for the sake of the video, I'm trying to go over the different lists I've tried, right? And like kind of the thought process that went behind it. Of course, we're going to play. So I said Kasumi. Kasumi is the top end. This thing is non-interactive. I got some charts on it. It seemed pretty good. You do double this, single this, and then we have like a high count of 1s, and we have a high count of 0s. This has on attack, on play, draw 2, ditch 2, blind stock 1. So it costs 1 stock to play 1. And then it digs for the climax, so you don't have to hold the climax. It also digs for the stock swap, and it digs for every other card you need. And then it has on attack, pay for mill the top. It's like a musashi on attack, so you burn for the level of the card, mill +1. But it's 4 stock. And then it has on climax play, you summon a card from your hand for free. So the idea was I stock swap, I do double this. That's so 1, 2, 3. I get to summon this and this, so I get a musashi from hand, and this, so I can like stock swap, make them reshuffle, screw up their compression, and then so 3, and then I get a total of 2 attacks before the last one of this, which means like 1, 8, so 9 for 9 stock. You get 2 of this, a musashi, stock swap, and Fumio. Okay, testing this. The problem isn't that this top end is fine. This top end is 100% fine. The problem is the Kokoro combo. So when you lose pants, Kokoro is like a. I don't want to say it's a terrible combo, but it's pretty terrible. When you lose pants as a trigger, you cannot reliably slam that like that Stoxel. Even with 2 of this thing, like the thing is, you don't want to be like clocking yourself to get the climax, right? Unless like you have to. This is more to hedge your bets than to like be used every turn. But without like pants, you just see this so much less throughout a game. And like Kokoro backfire once, and then you're struggling for hand, and you can't get this back. Like your gates are hitting, but like you're not getting this. So you can't go for this again, right? Like sometimes you miss Kokoro once, and you got to do it again. And when you do it again, it usually works out, and then you have a hand, and then things are fine. But not being able to do it a second time in this felt really bad. Up this, though, this is the right play. I think this is the right level 1 lineup for Hello Happy World, just so you can get the max amount of pluses off of this and have access to this twice in a game. Added a drop searcher. I mean, that's really the only thing of note. Added a free fresh because I have gates, so I'm able to actually get this to hand. And I have some healers. I think this thing heals on play too. No, wait, no, this one doesn't. This one does. That's right, because I wanted a healer. And then I also have this, so I can dig for even like more cards if I want to with this. So I think the takeaway from this one is like if you play this top end is fine, but if you play it, don't play this. Like maybe play it with Kasumi or something else. But yeah, 9 stock gets you stock swap Fumio, double Musashi, triple Musashi. 2 of them are guaranteed to happen. The other one is only if they cancel. So it's like 5 to 6 attacks, 9 stock, and it screws with them. It's pretty good. Whew. Okay, so those are the ones I've tried, and now I'm thinking about going to Cowley with something different. I made a new deck just because I found out about a new card, right? So I was having trouble, right, with Arisa and Kokoro. So the other thing is I want to mention about the Kokoro list is because, like I said, Kokoro sometimes fails. And when Kokoro fails, you need a turn or 2 to get hand back, right? So also, this Arisa is a good bridge at 2, but sometimes with Kokoro, your bridge at 2 needs to be slamming more Stoxels and praying for more advantage. I don't think it's a bad strategy. It's definitely not terrible. It's just doesn't go well with Arisa, where also because like if Kokoro's running hot, you just keep grabbing more Kokoros. You don't care about Arisa. But if Kokoro's not running hot, you can't grab anything. Does that make sense? Because you go Kokoro, and you either refresh with like 7 cards in hand and 11 clean stock, and then like a Futaba on your board and like just like tons of like just compression. You have like 5 cards on board, and you refresh at level 1, and you like they canceled once or twice, and like you're just in that game. Like there's no way in hell you're losing that game. Or they don't cancel at all, and now they're putting out like big dudes at level 2, and you don't have hand because they didn't cancel, and all you're praying is you can get like a second Kokoro going, so that way you can get more hand. There's kind of an identity crisis in this deck, right? Because Arisa is hard to put down if you're in a bad spot. And you never want to put it down when you're in a good spot because you're usually so compressed. Why would you minus soul your opponent? So I guess I made this. I say I guess because this was made 2 months ago. 3 months? 2.5 months ago? I forgot that I made this, but you're gonna see this is the list I made today. The Arisa 6.9. So we only run 14 zeros in that. I thought that was worth mentioning. But we get the Tay bottom deckers. We get the most important cards, right? We get the brainstorms, but now without the Amagis, we've upped the count of the brainstorms to be able to get the stuff that we need. Playing the bear, it's a wasted slot. Probably replace it for a brainstorm. If we only play 5 yellow, you probably replace it for a drop searcher. Um, and we play the Rand PR to get the cards we need, and we play this Drop Searcher that gets a soul in the middle. It's a good card. And we moved on to Christmas Kasumi. Why? Christmas Kasumi gives us mill. It gives us a recyclable level 1 combo. If you're running hot, you just keep recycling Kazumis. If you're running bad, you get the Arisas. You kind of get the flexibility to do so as well. You get the ability to mill down to Arisa, which is the other important thing. You have so much mill in Hello Happy World that like you can play the Arisa as soon as you hit 2, right? Same thing with this. You have so much mill with the stars or something in the warehouse that you can play down Arisa at 2. Like early 2, like 2-0. You can refresh at 1 and then play her down. You get this. This card gets the marker on play. It preserves one of the warehouse events through refresh. It's a free marker compression. And it's a 6/5, so it's just all around a good card. I think if you're playing the Kasumi combo, you should play one of this. It also has like it's an on reverse Ricky if it's in the middle. You don't play it for that. You don't use that at all. Since we're playing red, we actually get to access to the Saya Summoner. You can summon the Drop Searchers for extra soul. You can summon the Kazumis to salvage the combo. At the end of the turn, if the card isn't dead, so like if it hasn't been removed from the board, either through being reversed or like sent somewhere, the card gets banished. So it's compression neutral if you win that lane. Because you pay out the stock, but then it goes to memory, so it's like the same number of cards out of your deck, right? And only one Yukina backup, because I'm over here struggling on space on this deck. We're playing red, so this level assist, you're probably going to actually be able to play it now. Unlike these other lists, but now of course you're struggling to play this Musashi. I wanted a card that would remove things off of the board, since I'm paying 1 stock for the bear counter in the other list, and the only reason I was playing is because it was yellow. I thought I would rather play this, because the thing is with Arisa, you don't need anti-early plays. You're bigger than every relevant early play in the game. So you have two Arisas after climax, even before supports, is like 10-5, 13-5. You're 13-5 on defense without a level assist. With a level assist, if you put them like both up behind it, it's 15-5. No, 15k. Yeah, sorry, 15k. There's nothing relevant in English that's going to kill that at 2, and even at 3. Well, at relevant, Gurren and a couple other things can, but if people are killing your Arisas, it's bombs. Like they're putting bombs on the board to try to answer your Arisas, and because Arisa buffs the entire board, it makes Swimsuit Arisa with double of this 14k before any back row. So the ability to remove cards off board was more important to me. It stops Sao. Also, this is better at like level 3, right? Because you can remove problematic cards like Sao, the merges, or the Tengen Tompa you can remove if anyone's crazy enough to play that. You never know. People play all kinds of meme stuff in English. I lost a Giga Drill Break in Atlanta, so that's a real thing. This stops that. 2-3, just a nice package. Nothing special here. Kokoro, because while we have the stock swap and we have this, just a way to close a game out is nice, because this sometimes doesn't get you there. This, nice addition. And then Gate Pants, 4 and 2. I've been looking at this list because I made the next list today, like I said. But this list is nice. I like this. I like having the Kokoro. I like having this. I like having this because this is what I made today. It's more focused on colors, but I got the 4 Futapas in there. But as you see, I have failed to put the bottom decker Tay in, and I don't know how crippling that is. But this is made to set up other things better, right? So the card I discovered was There is a global Arisa support. Well, it's a global music support if you marker a toilet on play. So one of this means that you can put the Arisa walls on the sidelines, which is the hardest place to answer anything for almost any deck, for most decks. So putting on the side lanes instead of like clumping them around the single support makes them even harder to answer. It's also on color, which is important, and it gets full coverage, right? Because then it can also buff, like, because your board that you're aiming for is 2 and 1, with this being like 14. But this like gives this coverage to be like 15.5, and this thing goes up to like 16k, I think, right? Oh man, I'm so bad at math. 4, 5, 5, 5, 15k, 15.5. So just with one of this, 2 of this, one of this. This is actually a very doable board, as long as you marker a toilet. So the important thing about that is 2-1, right? It feeds into your compression, not taking damage game plan. 2-1 marker. So on your next deck, it's like you paid out the stock, but you really didn't, because you get the marker compression. This card also has on play, pay 1, look at top 2, add 1 to hand, other one goes to the bottom of deck. That gets you with pants, guys. That gets you more turns of anti-damage. That gets you your backup. Your 1 of backup. Yeah, my thought with the 1 of backup is nobody's answering this. This card is to refresh. That's it. These will not die. If you do 2 or 1 and 1, I mean these do the same thing, like to the power of the board. I like AOT. Mikasa's can't even get over this. But you're forced into like 3 toilets, right? And if I'm playing toilets, I want to play the Bonder to the toilet. Since I'm playing the Bonder to the toilet, and since I'm playing toilets in general, I want to have the top check to guarantee that I get my hand back. These toilets feel really bad. If you've ever played it, and you don't have the top check, and you just like reveal a climax or an event, suddenly you're like, wait a second, what's going on? And it's just, you're just in a bad position, right? Because you just randomly negged one hand for nothing, like, for a stock. But the point of the toilet is to get the hand back and just like randomly stock charge for free. So there's no reason to short yourself by not playing this. But then when you play this, it clogs up your level 0 game. And then the 4 something on the warehouse, of course. So there's not too much like special going on here. Which one will I be playing in Cali? Probably one of these, or I might go back to Persona. I just wanted to make a video, just because I've been arguing, hey, Kokuro's the best. Is she? I mean, I admit she's got her shortcomings. I think there's a lot to be there, had there. I think the yellow engine is very powerful. I just wanted to also show, how my understanding of the engine has happened, come along over time, and hopefully, more people try out the Kokoro engine, because I think if you're playing like this with this, I think you have a very powerful deck. And not with this. You need pants, so you need to play with Yukina or Arisa, by the way. But if you do that, yellow is a very potent engine, and it is very worth building around. But yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on Bang Dream in English. These are the 6 different decks that I've built, and tried, actually tried, and kind of the evolution of them. So hopefully I can get more deck profiles for you guys, since the tournament season's dying down, and give you guys more content as time goes on. But until next time, this is Serio Tenon signing out.